Yes.
Good. All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Robichaud, and I am the project manager for the Eskinobridge Watershed Association. And I've been invited here today to present an Indigenous perspective on climate change in children. So I'm just going to start off a little by talking a little bit about the Eskinobridge Watershed, and then into what we're doing to help children through this climate and health crisis that we are currently experiencing. I'm just going to move this for a second. Okay. So the Eskinobridge First Nation, the watershed is located in Eskinobridge First Nation. We are on the northeastern coast of New Brunswick along the Gulf of St. Lawrence. We make up three separate parcels. So there's the Eskinobridge First Nation that's located along the Miramichi Bay. There's also Tabazantak and Pukmush. And within Eskinobridge, there are rivers, salt marshes, swamps, sandy beaches, and provincially significant wetlands. So here I have a picture of our coastline in Eskinobridge. And more about the Eskinobridge watershed. We were just recently established in 2016 with the help from Eskinobridge Chief and Council, community members such as myself, the Tabazantak Watershed Association, the Niguac Watershed, which is named Comité Sauvignon-Rivière, and DFO, of course, and local governments as well. So our vision statement is to maintain a healthy diversity of our life sources and to create a world where the environment doesn't need protecting. And our mission statement is to improve the environmental quality of our community by partnering with organizations, government, local businesses, community leaders, neighbors to work together to create a clean and safe place to live and work for future generations. So here I have a picture of the Eskinobridge watershed. And as you can see, we are just right below there is the Miramichi Bay. And so because of that, we are really, climate change can really severely impact us. So a little bit more about the staff here. There's me, project manager. I've been working since the establishment of the watershed. I also have my early childhood education. So I really enjoy working with the youth. It's really a passion of mine. And also we have Johannes, who works part-time. He's an environmental technologist. And then there's Kelsey Savoie. She's new to the team. She's the climate change project coordinator. So here's some of our projects that we work on. So there's the Community Aquatic Monitoring Program and the Canadian Aquatic Biomonitoring Network. So we have sites sampling sites of those in our watershed. We sample for water quality. We do eelgrass monitoring and sampling. We also started a new program, which is called the Indigenous Green School Program. And we are also a part of the Healthy Coast New Brunswick project. And our newest project is the Eskinobridge Climate Change Adaptation project. So just real quickly on the top there, the watershed partnered with Miramichi River Environmental Assessment Committee. And so we put a lead and line collector there in the Miramichi, the Burnt Church River. And I'm pictured there with some students. And then on the bottom is Eskinobridge school students sampling for camp. So here's just a list of a few of our project partners. There's the Tabazantak Watershed Association, which I mentioned, the Miramichi River Watershed, and then there's Encompass Environmental Limited. So I work a lot with them on a lot of our projects. They're the consultant company for a lot of our projects. We also have, we work with the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, which is pictured on the top there. The picture there is from the 2019 Eskinobridge powwow, and it was super fun. We, shared some information on the projects that we were doing, activities for the kids, a lot of Mi'kmaq translation, which is always fun. And then a few of our posters there where we collaborate with other groups. And then here's a few pictures of our summer students. So every year since 2016, we employ several students from our community. They learn to sample water quality parameters too, such as temperature and dissolved oxygen, and as well as data collection and analysis, just to name a few. So yeah, those are pictures of our summer students. The one on the bottom left there is they made that watershed model themselves, and it's really super cute. They made that for the Eskinobridge school. So I've been invited here today to talk about how climate change impacts children from an Indigenous perspective and what we're doing to help. So to start, children, excuse me, oh, sorry. Just trying to move this. To children, climate change can be scary, overwhelming, hard to understand, frustrating at times, and can feel like a hopeless situation. And what our youth are saying, our children have expressed fear and worry around climate change. They see our lands and waters changing as climate change worsens, and they understand our responsibility to act in ways that consider the 7 generations to come. Our youth want to understand climate change and how it affects the lands and waters and what they can do to help lessen climate change impacts. So here we have them planting some trees. So our approach, how we're doing this with the watershed is a land-based learning for our children, intergenerational transfer of knowledge and Mi'kmaq ways of knowing from our elders to our youth, and addressing fears and feelings of hopelessness through education and age-appropriate action. So by doing that, to do that, we do things like I've mentioned earlier, camp, community aquatic monitoring program. So I work with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, and I also partner with the Tabazantak and Miramichi watersheds on multiple sites. We collect things like water quality, sediment, groupings of fish, shrimp, and crab. And all of this is to monitor the health of the estuaries, and we do this during the summer months. Okay. And then here is pictures of camp in Eskinobridge First Nation. They're learning about the different types of species, like I said, how to use the sampling equipment. They love that. And also transferring data onto the field sheet. They really enjoy helping us and learning. They enjoy getting outside, seeing what's around in our ecosystems, and they enjoy like that hands-on learning and connecting with Mother Earth. It's something all our groups really enjoy doing. So I have some pictures of that here. All right, so on to water quality monitoring. The Eskinobridge Watershed currently has 13 monitoring sites. We sample for E. coli and heavy metals, and we also sample the water parameters such as temperature, dissolved oxygen, pH, and salinity. So there's a map of our sites, and then I also have a picture on the bottom left is youth from Eskinobridge, and they're sampling at one of our water quality sites. So Eelgrass Monitoring. Since 2022, the Eskinobridge Watershed has established one eelgrass monitoring site. We use the protocols established by SeagrassNet as part of a worldwide study. And so SeagrassNet is an ecological monitoring program that investigates and documents the status of seagrass resources and the threats to this important and imperiled marine ecosystem. Yeah, like I mentioned, our first site is located at Diggle Point, and that first site that we did do in 2020, it's located on sacred grounds, so it's super important for us. And as I said, we partner a lot with the Tabazantak Watershed Association and the Miramichi Environmental Assessment Committee. So yeah, it's a lot of group work. And it's super interesting as well. So a little bit about the Indigenous Green School program that we just recently started. The Tabazantak Watershed and the Eskinobridge Watershed co-created this program. So it's an Indigenous-led, hands-on curriculum-linked environmental educational program that's developed to give children and youth the skills and resources they need to learn about Mother Earth and ways to protect it by encouraging environmental stewardship through fun activities, while also learning about Indigenous and traditional ecological knowledge through community elders. So within that program, we have a few projects. There's the tree planting, erosion project as well, and birdhouses. Okay, next slide. So tree planting. So it includes students learning about why trees are important, the types of trees in our region, why to plant trees and how to plant. So we created an educational pamphlet for like quick resources for the children and students to reference to when we are planting these trees. We also do in-class components, and then we go outside as well. It includes a educational video of how to plant them as well that we co-created together, the Untitled Watershed and I. It's pretty cute. It gives a good chuckle to the students, so they enjoy it. And then we follow up with survey questions to see if, what they've captured or any concerns that they have. And the pictures that we have here are in Eskinobridge. We have our students putting some mulch on them, protecting them. And here I'm sharing some pictures with you guys today. So the first one is a student from the Tabzimtak community school. So they planted their trees near their school grounds, but due to COVID, we weren't able to be there with the students to plant them. So instead of being face to face, the teachers were more than willing to take pictures and videos and be our eyes and ears there. So that's the first picture, and the second one is a talking circle. So after we are done planting trees with the students, we start off with the opening prayer, and then after we're done our activity, we do a talking circle. Every student takes their time, takes their turn, and we go around and everyone talks about what they learned or what their concerns are and things like that. So so that's part of our program as well. It just gives everyone the chance to speak their minds and share their feelings. And we know it empowers them by giving them the time and space to express their feelings and concerns too. So it's really important. And then the third picture is a GoPro. So we use that a lot for like our Indigenous knowledge interviews that we share with the kids. And we also use it a lot to help create our videos that we make for the children. So here is a map of the Indigenous Green School program here in Eskinobridge. In the red is where we planted trees along the coast with grade 6. You could see our school over there. It's not too far, so we just, we walk there, nice little walk, rain or shine. And then we also have our another site here where we planted trees in green, and then we started the school erosion project here. So when I mentioned earlier we had a sacred site, well, this is the sacred site, Diggle Point, and here's the erosion project that the students GPS'd themselves. And so I'm going to go into a little bit of the erosion project now. Okay, so yeah, with this part of the Indigenous Green School program, students learn about coastal erosion and that's happening in their area, how to use current technologies such as a GPS, and measure erosion over time and ways to mitigate. So here's pictures of students learning life skills such as how to use a GPS. There's also Eskinobridge First Nation students. They made their own metal markers in shop class, so I had to share a picture of that. The SAP stands for School Erosion Project, so that was the first waypoint there. And so a little bit more about the Erosion Project. This educational kit includes, a PowerPoint presentation, how to use the equipment in the field through through an educational video that we created, a field book as well, and includes things like the landmark coordinates, equipment checklists, field sheets, reflections, observations, and things like that for when we're out on the field. And then students also learn about Indigenous traditional knowledge of the area. They build practical outdoor navigation and fieldwork skills, life skills. And then I just wanted to mention too, during this project, we had a total of 11 markers and we found 6. Most were gone. I'm sure we were pretty positive due to erosion, but the students calculated a total loss of 3.5 meters of land from June 12, 2019 to November 6, 2019. So that was a pretty interesting project with the kids. A lot of it's on hold a little bit due to COVID. We can't really go too much in person, but we do plan on continuing this erosion project with them. We also do an erosion project with the Tausentak students as well. So on to the next slide, the Indigenous traditional knowledge that we incorporate within the Indigenous Green School program. So our students in both schools learn about the history of our region from an elder or a knowledge holder from within our communities. They also learn about the different types of medicines, teachings, stories, and our language. So on this slide, I included on the top there is when we dig to plant our tree, we make sure to set good intentions and pray, and we give that sage there to let Mother Earth know, we're not here to hurt you, we're here to give thanks and we're here to help. And so I had to include that in the slide. There's some medicine there, some blueberries. On the bottom left is a community member holding some bear root. And on the bottom right, we're picking some sweetgrass with a knowledge holder. Okay, and for the last part of the Indigenous Green School program, there's bird houses. We haven't really been able to implement this activity with the students due to COVID, but this is what it does include. So it includes the types of birds and their habitats they'll be learning, construction and installation of nest boxes, life cycles and nesting stages, data collection and data analysis. And that's all from the Cornell lab. So I'm jumping right into the climate change adaptation project here in Eskinobridge. It's one of our most recent projects. We started the project last year in June of 2021. We are undertaking this project using Indigenous knowledge and Western science throughout the project. And because of where we're located, we're a coastal community and having Burn Church River as well, we are very vulnerable to climate change impacts. And so this project is to assess those potential climate change risks and to manage those risks. So we're working closely with community members, including elders and youth, to identify those risks. And here's a picture of me and Kelsey at our first community meeting. So here's our community meeting poster. And we really try to encourage youth to attend. So here we had our first meeting at the Community Youth Center. We just had our Community Youth Center just last year, so it's fairly new. And when we had our meeting, the youth were excited to attend, lots of activities there for them. We had food, we had prizes, coloring pages too that were translated in Mi'kmaq and English. Also, we have opportunities for youth to learn from the land users. So here's a picture of community members. On the left is Kiana, and she beads. So she's showing us her beading and willing to share how to bead, as well as Dennis here. We call him the medicine man, and he's very knowledgeable with all his medicines. And he's in that picture really proud to share his knowledge with us. So like I said, the climate change coloring contest, the youth were super excited to share their pictures with us and their concerns. Any questions they had, they felt very comfortable to share with us. Like I said, we made it very inviting for them to attend. I think there would have been a lot more attending, but due to COVID, that limits some to attend. But yeah, it was super fun. Nice to see them get out. We also have climate change newsletters that we do every month. Within those newsletters, there's a photo contest that community members can submit pictures of Eskinobridge First Nation. So we provide, in these newsletters, we provide them with project updates. So we update them on the project, we talk about climate change, we incorporate the Mi'kmaq language, and outreach. If there's anything that they need, we're here. There's some pictures here, the photo contest. So there's every month 3 chances to win a $25 Visa gift card. Children and youth are always encouraged to participate. And there's some pictures that I shared that I took within the community just to pique some interest and give them some ideas of, pretty much looking for any type of picture. And then we are currently working on right now as part of this climate change project is the school program. We're getting into the schools. We haven't yet due to COVID, but we have everything figured out as to what we are going to do with the students. So here's a little piece of it. It's from the Green Learning website. And it's a lesson plan that discusses flooding and climate change. So how flooding relates to climate change. So we just started this. We can't wait to see how things go after March break. We really want to get in the schools and share this information with the kids. And climate change transfer of Indigenous knowledge. Here's a picture of our climate change elder advisor, Doc Francis. He's super knowledgeable, very passionate about our Mi'kmaq culture and the youth, reconnecting the youth with Mother Earth. He's part of our project to help us, if we need any help or a different perspective or anything to do with incorporating any Mi'kmaq traditions within our programs, he's there. So I thought it was a pretty empowering picture to share. There's some sage there burning, and then we have a young little man staring at me. So yeah, that went fast. Well, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present, and I'm available for questions anytime. Walal, and thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. So we can, thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you have like a question. We can take like 2 questions for Samantha. Do you have some question for Samantha?
Thank you.
Okay, so if you don't have a question for Samantha, I don't know, Samantha, you will stay at the networking session or?
I have a question, Sadia. Sorry.
Okay.
You told us about the worry of the kids. So how did you make a survey? How did you get these worries?
Our students are very open with us. We're out on the land a lot. They love to, when they see us, they love to help. So we hear a lot of their concerns during those times. They feel very comfortable with us. Like I said, I'm from the community, and yeah, they don't mind sharing that with us.
Do you remember how many children share these worries with you?
Wow. It's hard to say just because I have different classes and different schools. I can't give a specific number, but I'd say like a good dozen for sure. A lot of them like to speak their mind.
Just thank you very much. That was an amazing presentation. I'm asking that because we talk a lot about mental health and how it affects children, but we have no data. So thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Amazing. Bonnie? I think Bonnie, Bonnie have a question. Yeah.
It's so wonderful to hear about Samantha's activities and what's happening at Eskinobetitj, and thank you so much for sharing. I'm down in the lower St. John River Basin area. And we've always been very interested in getting the children involved down here. But what you've described is very interesting. And I know there are some teachers in our local schools who might be interested to hear more about your program. So I was wondering if you would be open for that.
Definitely. That sounds really nice. I'm always open to sharing.
Okay, thank you, Samantha.
No problem. Thank you.